happened. So first things first, my name is Kenneth Bird. My company is Crystal Edge Technology Screens. First time I came in, my camera was pulled all the way up. I was like, what in the world is going on here? All right, so yeah, I can see this wall definitely isn't straight. I can see from where the screen is laying, it's a little out. It should be laying perfectly flat to the wall, and the wall is a little bit crooked. All right, so first, my name is Kenneth Bird. My company is Crystal Edge Technology Screens. We're getting ready to set up for a launch date for the 38 Black Widow. But we had some tests that have to be done. So we brought up the ultra short though. We brought up the low lumen projector. I'm going to have to switch some things around and put this screen over here because when we do the low lumens, we need a bit of a distance throw. And from here, we don't have the distance throw. We got the distance throw from here to here. We got it perfectly from here. This room is around about somewhere between 15, 16 feet. This is a pretty big room, so about 15, 16 feet. So we have the room in here to do the distance throw. So we're going to set the screen up on this side for the low lumen projector at 1,000 lumens. And then we're going to use an ultra short throw. Now the ultra short throw test, we have to make sure that the screen can pull up on an angle, which is very important. Because if it doesn't pull up on an angle, that's one of the biggest problems that they have with ultra short throws is being able to see the screen on an angle. A lot of people don't realize that when screens are not ultra short throw compatible, what happens is they suffer from narrow viewing cone effect, and the screen comes dark on those edges. So let me show you how crazy the day is going to be. Like I said, anytime you see me up early in the morning, there is either a ton of testing coming up or basically things that have to be done. This room literally has to be painted. So this entire room is going to be coated all white. To get ready, remember, we got a P2 coming through. So this room is going to be painted all white for that setup. And we're going to be using, for long throws in here, we're going to be using the Chrissy LW505. So I already ordered the lamp for that. Start getting that set up. And here, the next room in here, this is the theater room, which right now working on, this is the vintage theater room. We're working on labels for the invisible. So the invisible technology, which in mind, I gotta finish because I'm all over the map right now. And I'm trying to keep everything sorted out so we don't have craziness going on all day today. So let's get everything done so we don't have to worry about all this craziness. I don't want to just bring you guys over here instead. I gotta do some wire management over here badly because I can't even put my stand in here because we got wires moving back and forth, but I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with the wiring situation in this room yet, what we're going to put in here. So we got ultra short throw, we need ultra short throw compatible. That's what we're looking for. We need the word for compatible. All this needs to go. I don't know what is watching here. Usually I watch a lot of tutorials and they run into something else. So let me see what we got going on here. I need make sure we got the correct spelling on this. And what is all this? High performance by contrast screen. I was looking up. Ugh, man, I'm gonna have to take a little bit of acid reflux pop up. That means Mr. Bird was eating something last night I shouldn't have been eating. So I would get some water in the tum, so I'm gonna knock that out. All right, so I'm gonna go over here and I am going to pull up where's the microphone system? There we go. Compatibility. Room is quiet as a church mouse. Microphone is right there. And Google picked up something completely different. Compatibility. All right, my goodness. The thing about, I tell people, if you're doing like spelling check and all that stuff on your website, you have to understand what the word looks like because I forgot to put that in there. If you don't understand what the word looks like, there's no point in you using the spelling speech. Because if you don't know what compatibility actually looks like at the end of the day, how do you know how you properly spelled it? That's another issue, is going to pop up. But they speak it and everything if you don't know compatibility. I know what compatibility looks like. I know how to spell it. The only problem is I want to make sure I spell it correctly. So like I said, even I go in and basically make sure I proofread or go through everything before adding it to the site. Let's see, we're going to be here. So is this going to allow me to copy and paste, or we're going to have to, not allow me to copy and paste. Can we copy and paste here? No, you can't even copy and paste here. All right, so that's not going to work. So let me go over here. Go back here. This is what Mr. Bird goes through designing labels. Here, compatibility. do we have? I bet you $100, no ink pens up here. I don't know, one area that we work at the most, we do the most documents, paperwork, and everything else under the sun has no freaking ink pens. Never has ink pens up here. So I got to take a trip downstairs. Also, got to go through my subscriber list too, because I got to figure out how many people on here are actually of my subscribers and how many people aren't of my subscribers. Which means I got to figure a way how we have to get rid of some of these dead weight. Because at the end of the day, I think some people we have in here are not subscribers. They're in here watching just for the sake of just watching. They're not our subscribers. They're not part of my group. So today I got a person buying some remote to access one of my PCs, and he's going to go through my entire list of subscribers because I apparently can't do it. I don't have that time to do it and start wiping out some of these people in here that don't belong in here. Because at the end of the day, I think there's about 20,000, 30,000. There's something in there. But he's going to go through the account. He's an expert, and I feel that's what he does. He remote control can access my PC, go in and clean it up. And that's what I hired him to do. Because there's a lot of subscribers. If I could, I'd get it down to 20,000 subscribers. I'd knock them all out at the most. Because at the end of the day, I try to explain to people that, you know, to subscribe, we know who's who at the end of the day. We just got to get rid of the rest of them. They got to go. So that's what I'm going to be paying him to do pretty soon, to go in and start wiping stuff out. I told you we're going to do stuff differently with this new technology and how we're going to be doing things. And we need to get rid of some of this weight that does not need to be here. And he's going to permanently make sure you can't come back on. I guarantee that one. This guy used to be IT tech from Microsoft. He used to do security encryption. I told you I was an IT tech. I know a lot of people, man. I know a lot of interesting individuals at the end of the day. Mr. Bird is well connected. Mr. Bird is 54 years old and had the chance to experience a lot of things in life and met a lot of very interesting people along his path. These are people I'm still very well connected to, very well good friends with, grew old with. Don't mind doing favors for Mr. Bird. So, everything Mr. Bird is just this everyday Joe behind the camera. Never get that. And you see kind of stuff I do on a daily basis. Come on now, people. But anyway, good friend of mine told me I had some issues with some subscribers, and he's going to take care of it for me by basically going in and deep rooting and getting rid of these individuals that don't need to be here at the end of the day. Because I don't even know why these particular subscribers would even be on my channel. Why would you even be here to begin with? At the end of the day. Because number one, you don't support my company. Number two, you can't put dislikes down because that's been disabled. You have no point in commenting at all, period, because we can block those communications. But why are you even here? You're here at the end of the day, and we know why. It's because, quite frankly, there's nothing going on the other channels. There isn't. You go to the other channels, and you let me know if someone takes a 150-inch screen and takes outside in the middle of a snowstorm and displays images. Nobody does that. We're the only ones who do crazy stuff like that at the end of the day. So when we do our tests are way outside the box. Now, people that are loyal subscribers that we do have here, at the end of the day, I don't see you at the end of the day. So that's why we're thinking we're just wiping all of them at the same time. And we don't need them at the end of the day. I don't even know what the even purpose of it would be for to begin with. I mean, for other people, I can understand for their channels, but for us, we advertise. It's not like that for us, so we don't need it. People think they need the high. I don't even know what to do with the high count is. At the end of the day, people say, "Oh, subscribers." No, it's a YouTube video. It is going to be out there regardless at all. Period. You're going to be able to see it. When I had 1 subscriber or 2 subscribers on my channel, I was making $900 a quart on my product. This is black technology. We first developed it, first got on the market, was trying to figure exactly a price range you get it for, and we're at $900 a quart. I was making a killing, way more than what I make now, because we're making $900 a quart, and people were paying for it. We got contracted by a big company that came over when we were developing gray screen paints, and we only had like 2 subscribers on our channel. So, you know, it's really not necessary. Now, if you're on here, you're using YouTube because, you know, you want people to come in, tons of people come watch your channel, you want all these subscribers, and you get paid from YouTube, then I can understand all that, but we don't make any money off YouTube at all, period. And I wouldn't want to make any money off YouTube at the end of the day to have somebody come in and control my videos and monitor what I do every time I turn around. I don't want that nonsense. So this is all for advertising. That's what it's used for. So it's a lot cheaper. If you AC did any kind of research on how much advertising costs. It is very, 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 very expensive. So thank God for YouTube. Thank God for live, because in live we can come in and we can show our demonstrations of live. Because it's very hard to convince someone that, hey, look, this was all basically, we went outside, we took a 150-inch screen, sat back 27 feet, hit a screen at 4,000 lumens at around 4 to 5 in the evening, and pulled up an image in the middle of a snowstorm. Really? You think anyone's going to believe that at the end of the day? You're going to say, oh, they doctored the video. They had to. That's why we had 2 recordings of it. Now, the one that came up private, that was for a company, a corporation that wanted to check it out. The private one, there's information there we're actually talking about in that video that you can't hear at the end of the day. I told you there were companies interested in the technology. So that video came up private. There were private videos, you ever know how they work. Bottom line, the only people can access that are people who have emails that are attached to that video and can get access to it. So you're going to be seeing some private videos popping up from time to time that are going to say private, because these are for companies and there are things that we are explaining in those videos. But at the end of the day, I don't know why we need them. We need subscribers, and we don't need them. Oh, period. And if you subscribe, yeah, good. Then other than that, we don't need it. I wish there was an area where we can actually just take them out. Let's see. I hate when they do compatibility, because then it's that mix up with the ILITY, LI, and I hate that crap they have in the LIITY. Okay, when I do these recordings live, keep in mind, in my mindset, the recordings are for later on, because we take these recordings and we jump from one station to the next, or one platform to the next. They go from Twitter, they go from here to here. This is what they're used for. That's it. And basically just to show that I'm doing what I'm doing is real, because it's live. I gotta put that through a spelling checker. I swear that is the most weirdest way to why. That can't be right. COMPAT. CAOMPOTI. or BI. I hate it when I spell compatibility. Whew, man, I couldn't imagine spelling this and then spelling B. It's been a nightmare for me. Me personally, it's been a nightmare. COMPATIBIBIBI. That's an I. Look, that's an I. It looks literally like an L. ILITY. You want to make sure you get your spellings correctly. You don't want to be on a page drop. That's why at the end of the day, people don't understand. A web page will reflect the kind of person that you are, and also reflect your knowledge and intelligence at the end of the day. So if your website has all kinds of misspellings on it, and as you can see, it's very easy to do. Just go into Hotmail, go in, put it in. Hotmail will actually correct it for you. But if you feel that Hotmail is not going to do a thorough enough job, then you just go and pay for a program. That's basically about it. So I have a program to go through all my stuff that basically allows me to see if anything in there is misspelled. All right, so now we just got that clear. We're going to be talking about what's going to be happening in the next couple of days with the subscribers. We are going to be, let me see. We don't need any of this. Okay, that's something there. Where is the actual label? That's the actual label right there. We are going to be today inspiring invisible technology. Widow invisible technology is very easy, because once we finish once we finish the actual product, the invisible version is not hard to make. It's very easy to make. Oh, I should do a Black Widow unicorn. That would be sick. Yeah, that would be sick. I'm gonna do a Black Widow. I'm gonna do a Black Widow unicorn. That'd be crazy. Okay, we will have that in about a few minutes. We'll have we'll have to figure out to put that. It's already in my head already. So I'm pretty much figuring out yeah, done. All right. Let me see. Okay. I hate spelling this in. It always seems so weird when because I'm putting in an extra I sometimes. or I'm not putting an extra I or too many. Okay, ILTIY. Let me see, compatibility. Compatibility, is that correct? Compatibility. All right, let me pull this up. All right, so we got COM, LT. No. Go off. That can't be LT. Yeah, that's spelling correct. That's definitely correct. Okay, go back in again. All right, let's go to BIB. COMPAT, COMPAT, IBIIBIL, LITY. All right. I go through this with everything. Literally, everything I write down, I literally go through this. I am a person that has to make sure everything is done correctly. COMPAT, COMPAT, IBIIBIL. L. There's an L there. It should be LITY. Okay, this is going on a label, so it's be spelled correctly. Constant software right there. All right. We need to go to acoustic ready. Acoustic ready. Acoustic. So if I'm not sure about a word, I have to go in and make sure. Acoustic. So the screen we have downstairs, which is easy to detach, the one I built downstairs, thank goodness I didn't mount this thing to the wall like I was going to do. I would have an issue getting it off. We could code that in one day, but we need to test the product. Should be no problem testing it. But I had to do a spray-on demonstration of an acoustic screen downstairs. I think we want to do an 80-inch at 235.1 for that one. Okay, so that'll be done. Once that's done and we get an idea how it's going to react, we have to 3D mapping to do today too on top of that. I wonder if I can squeeze 3D mapping. This is the reason why I don't go to sleep until late. So we got 3D mapping, so all that equipment I have in there. And then on top of that, we got the 150-inch, which I literally forgot I got a 150-inch acoustic screen downstairs in the workshop / gaming room. That has to be coded. That has to be done. That's another acoustic. We have acoustic here. We have 127-inch acoustic. I think that's the only two we have. And the only problem with that, we can't do those because of the snow. We usually take those out on the balcony and blast them in no time at all. They're done. But we have snow out there, so we can't do that yet. So that has to wait. But the 80-inch at 235.1 can be done today because it's a smaller screen and it can be done. We only need it for testing. So that's not hard to do. We can get that one done today. So we're going to be doing a spray-on demonstration of an acoustic string Black Widow. ACOUSTIC acoustic. All right. So that right there, we're going to have to do. And then I have to do the day for this technology right here. I have to do the acoustic technology. I have to do testing tomorrow for that. And we still have to do an ultra short throw test and a low lumen test on the product we have in the next room. That's being set up over there. So that has to be done. Let's see what we have here. So right now we're designing the labels for the visible. So ACOUS. Then I have to design a specification sheet for it. On top of that, acoustic. I'm liking the way I want to make sure I got this correct. ACOUS. There's no D in there. Where the heck did a D come from in that? Seriously, bird? All right, try that one again. ACOUSAOCSTIC acoustic. It's weird how you do things in a different font. Do things in a different font and capitalize makes everything look different than it does. So I have to make sure to go back over again, back over again, back over again, back over again, You got to do that. When I was outside setting up for the, I'm going to do it off behind the camera. Look what I had to go through to set that thing up outside. I had to make sure every last cable was wrapped in film and covered in tape because I didn't want to run the risk of getting electrocuted, shorting out my house, or in the process of tearing up my equipment in the process. And then I had to walk a line where all the wire was going to be laying at and put planks there. Unfortunately, I put, not unfortunately, but good thing I had to put one plank down because there was only one wire. It was actually in the snow, a connection to snow. Then when I got there, I had to connect the fire stick and power cord, had to be all wrapped up. And then I was plugged into the projector. All that had to be set up, man. Only thing I'm glad about the screen was already set up because, man, if I had to go out and set that screen up against the side of the gate, which is fantastic on top of it, too, because now the same screen we did the demonstration of the 38 Black Widow is outside right now. And all the snow and freezing, we're actually got sleet going on right now. That is fantastic because we can test the daylight out of the thing. Summertime is nothing. Summertimes are easy tests. It's just heat passes right through the screen. When you got to deal with the cold, oh, yeah, it causes the screen to crack right down the middle. And it's actually doing quite well. Also, too, the fabric is working quite well, too. Also, that's very important. All right, we gotta go from here. Y, do Y ready. Okay, ready. Just the acoustic ready. Right there. So I don't know. That's why I don't understand how people develop screen paint so fast. How are they're not testing it. They're definitely not testing it. Just running it through as quick as they possibly can. And they're not testing it. Because if they were testing it, they'd be doing what Mr. Bird does. Get up early in the morning. There is no way in the world you can work a regular 9-to-5 job and run a company at the same time. It does not work at all, period. Trust me, I tried it. It doesn't work. A company will consume and eat all your time. All of it. If your business is doing what you say it's doing at the end of the day, that's the only job you will be working at the end of the day. How many people you know right now? I mean, only time people are working 2 jobs is less at the end of the day if their company's not pushing it. Their company's pushing it, that's where they're making their money at the end of the day. But if you're going to work and you're basically calling it, no, you're not. That's a hobby at the end of the day. That becomes a hobby. That is not a business. You have any idea how much work it goes to run the company? I literally killed 2 hours alone just writing a freaking specification sheet for one of the formulas. I do that like 8 or 9 times every time we develop one. Every time you watch your screen paint drop, and we make one, now you see all the work that has to go behind it to make it. I had to set up the photos for it, all that stuff, designing labels, all that stuff has to be done. Proofread this, proofread that. Then there's the video demonstrations. Yeah, doing the same demonstrations over and over again in an apartment or in a home at the end of the day on the same screen over and over again. That's a hobby. I'm sorry, that's a hobby at the end of the day. I got to go outside. I got to set up equipment outside, drag cables through equipment, and set this up. And yeah, okay. That's a hobby. That's not a company. It's literally a hobby. If that was a company, that would be literally your job at the end of the day. And somebody said, oh, get a real job. I have a degree in culinary arts, and I have a degree also in IT tech. A lot more than my dad at my 20s, my late 20s. So, yeah, I've been there and done that already. Let me see. I just chose this profession because it's a profession that I really, really liked. And I had a job working at Labette. It was Labette Fins. It was a bookbinders. It wasn't the Blue Show Cafe. It was Labette Fins. Yeah, I had a job working at Labette Fins. I was an assistant chef. I made like $60 an hour. I was making good money. I worked like 7 days a week. Well, half days on Sundays, and I worked between because you don't have a life period. Life is going. You open and close. You work about 6 days a week, and sometimes you work half days on Sunday. Might as well. I mean, yeah, I was working like a dog. I realized one day I was like, I am really not enjoying my money. I go outside. I don't jack every day. I work. I come in when the sun comes down. When the sun's down, I'm in. When the sun's down, I never get a chance to enjoy my day, and I quit my job. I had enough money saved in the bank, and I quit. Trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do that. I went to school for it, but I didn't want to do that. And then that's when I got into IT tech, got into computers and all that crazy stuff. I was doing house calls. I was making around that time. I think I was making like 180 an operating system. So every time somebody came in, they wanted an operating system redone, especially when that whole Vista thing went down. That was a good couple of years because, man, that thing jacked everything up, man. It couldn't work with hardware, wouldn't work with the software, it was incompatible. It was a freaking nightmare for some people. They just didn't like it. It was horrible anyway. It was a really bad old operating system. But anyway, I made good money off of that, man. Modding people's PCs out, cutting out the doors and putting in plexiglass and neon lights and all that stuff. I loved that, man. I was making good money off that. And I was getting hit up from word of mouth. And all that started because basically I was sitting on my front porch and I was working on a computer. I was cutting the door open on the computer to basically sand it, get it ready for rubber coating, to drop some plexiglass into it, some neon lights to hook it up so the door would close. I wouldn't have that peekaboo window installed into a PC didn't have when I was building one for myself. I bought an old Dell PC over at the thrift store. I said, you modification it. Some modifications on it. And somebody saw me on the porch doing some work. And he was like, hey, you work on computers? I'm like, yes, I do. At the time, I never even worked on anybody's machines before. And the guy brought down his laptop. It was just basic, simple plain, a couple of viruses. He wanted the operating system wiped clean. He wanted a new operating system put in. And I locate, find all the drivers because he had the original system disk that went through it. So I had to track those down one by one, which I can't stand to do on certain computers. But anyway, he went in and I made, like I told you, he said, how much? I said, $150. He paid it. Gave me the money right there on the spot. I was like, what the freak? And after that was like, okay. He went around, I gave him back the computer, he liked it. Somebody popped up 2 days later, like, yo, you that got a fixed computer? Like, yeah, apparently I am. So he gave me a computer. Next thing you know, I got word of mouth in the hood. Everybody knew I was the one that fixed PCs. They would bring computers to me just about every single day. I was making a freaking killing. And that's when I built the 2011 motherboard. I built my own. So I figured everybody else saw these nice PCs. That's the PCs coming out. I was like, wow, that's better than my machine. I had a Pentium 4 at the time. I was like, wow, that's better than my machine. That's better than my machine. Better chance. You know what? I need to build my own machine, and that's when I built that this PC. Well, you want to field machines that I built. But one of the pieces I built had a 2011 motherboard. I think it had 264 gigs of PC 3000 OC and 412 core processors. That thing was a monster. Four 12-core processors. It took 4 CPUs to run that machine. I had two separate tester video cards attached to it at 24 gigs before we even had that stuff. We had it already over. If you ever heard of a 2011 motherboard, some people haven't even heard of it. It's a server board. That's what they are. You can host all kinds of games on those bad boys, man. That's the reason why I got it, because I was a big fan of Unreal Tournament. But yeah, at before you had the massive power supplies, we had I think 1500 on a power supply. So I took an ATX, sliced it to make an ATX-Y adapter, so I could run it through my power supply from my PC on there. So I run two power supplies off one ATX adapter, running off my adapter, but power output on my PC. So I had two power supplies running on that machine at the same time. But like 15 terabytes, everything went off at that thing. Massive graphic video cards, and you're talking about 412 core processors at the same time. And mind you, they don't make a cooling system for a 12 core processor. They don't exist. You have to build that one yourself. So basically, I built a kind of a T system, or not like a T system, more like a, what's the word for? I can't even explain it, man. It's so much easier for me to build something, explain stuff. Kind of like a plus symbol made out of copper piping, like an adapter that will allow me to hook up 3 liquid cooling systems to each 12-core processor to keep them nice and cool. And then when people get them at the end of the day, if you get like a liquid cooling system, they give you that basic fan, something like 37 RPM, something really weak. And then the day you can up the RPMs on that. And on top of that, by adding in a fan speed controller, you can actually step RPMs. You can upgrade, rebuild your radiators, but all kinds of stuff. I was into that kind of craziness. And at the time, I had like 242s, Sony TVs, because I wasn't doing anything with projecting at that particular time. And that's when I bumped into June. Me and my buddy June were friends for a long time, but when I came to his house and saw that 120-inch on that screen, I was like, oh, what the freak? Yeah, put my screen to shame. And then that's how I got into the field screen paint. You know the story at the end of that. That's how I got into it. And that's where I ended up here. But yeah, I was a chef. I made very good money. Oh, I have 5 chefs in my family. The 3 things in my family: either you graduate from college, you're military, or you have your own company. But whatever you do, you will exceed at it. Because in my family, things were different. We were raised military. We were raised military and old-fashioned, which means there was no such thing as, oh, I can't do this, can't do that, blah, 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 blah. You know, nonsense. You get the work done. You got the work done. That's all to it. No such thing as that nonsense. You get it done. And that's how it was when I was coming up. So bottom line, at the end of the day, this is acoustic ready. We got acoustic ready. I'm talking too much. I got work to do. Acoustic ready. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's the kind of work I went through. So you had to basically get it done, or just don't do it at all. Acoustic ready. acoustic ready. Acoustic ready. I'm gonna put down acoustic ready. Acoustic ready. Yeah, I'm gonna put. Yeah, I like that acoustic ready, but it's not enough there. I think that's good right there. We space out a little bit more. We put down right here because I don't want it too large. Let me go check this out to make sure we got everything here correctly. All right, that's in there, perfect. All right, so now we got the labels for the invisible version of that technology. So now what we're going here is I have to go save this. Let me see. Before I save this, I need to get this right here. I need to get that right there. I need this right here. We need to go back into over here. Yeah, so it's a lot of work today, people. A lot of work. So you can hear by the way I'm chattering, a lot of work. Let me see. Acoustic ready. We need to make a file for this. So we have to save this file. This is already completed and done. Let's see. This is the pictures for the outside. Let me see. Okay, are my caps off? Caps off. Okay. We need caps on for that one. ADV ALR rejection 38. Black Widow. Black Widow. Black Widow. Black Widow. Acoustic ready. Put down that 003002002. The file is already saved. All right. And there we go. Now, I have another friend that's going to be designing my holograms. My holograms, basically stickers or embedded into this. Will have our cube symbol, which is going to be on the back of the containers, because I have another label for the back of the containers too that have the hologram symbol of our cube with our copyrighted logo on the side of it. Because at the end of the day, this is Crystal Edge technology. At the end of the day, it's under our company, just a different brand of technology we have here. They're like, oh, but it doesn't have it. No, it is. Trust me. At the end of the day, it is. So now, if you want to jump on that little bandwagon over there and go to court and get sued for touching the copyright, then go right on ahead, Skippy. I got no problem with that. And you want to buy my lawyers another boat. So don't do that nonsense at the end of the day. I don't even know how people do. Why people do? Well, wherever. People do stuff like that at the end of the day. When I had to get the cube, I had to go through a search. Literally had to go through a search to figure out who owned it, or so and so and so. And then after the attorneys get a hold of it, the lawyers get a hold of it for basically for the copyrights, they do another search on top of it. They do a global search to see if anybody has any rights to that particular symbol. That's it. And if no one owns it, it comes back to you. They come back and send you a letter like, hey, you can take this now because nobody owns it. And then you can claim it as your own. Now, off topic, I am thinking about, because a friend of mine, a few friends of mine are attorneys at the end of the day, and it is going to be brutal for this individual. I mean, brutal. He's going to lose so much money. At the end of the day, he's going to make him homeless. That's what's going to happen. Him and his family will be homeless after this. And security just going to do that. It's going to definitely. He doesn't have the money to pay it. And that's going to be enforced. We can enforce anything we want. He's going to lose. He touched the copyright. He has no right of touching a copyright. Once somebody has, and I don't care how you people argue in the day, go talk to an attorney. Before you run your mouth on YouTube and embarrass yourself, go talk to an attorney and say, look, a friend of mine went out, a guy on YouTube had a copyright on his products. He tampered with it, he touched with it. What's the can happen? As you can sue him for it. You can't touch people's copyrights at the end of the day. That's how it works in court. Can't touch it. This will get you sued at the end of the day. So if you take something like, say, McDonald's symbol or logo, and you put it on a shirt and put your name underneath of it, you can be sued for that if they get word of it. So you can lose a lot of money at the end of the day. And they're talking about per copyright, which is even worse because the guy did like 13 times. Even worse. You could even, if they do 20,000 per copyright. Do you have any money? How much money it's going to add up? And including he's going to pay court fees, my attorney's fees. And my attorneys are not cheap at the end of the day. He's going to pay those fees. It is going to get expensive. And then that's not the only half, but that's our lawsuit. Then you got the federal government that has to get involved because we file the paperwork through them and they have their own rules and regulations that you have to go through. And their fines are 10 times even worse because then they got to come down. And some of it involves jail time at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, we know he's a jerk. He does deserve to be sued, and he does. Honestly, he really does. But at the end of the day, being a Christian man, I am trying to figure out a way. Even though he's a jerk at the end of the day, I am literally trying to figure a way how if he was by himself, I'd clean his clock in a minute. I would clean his freaking clock in a minute. But there's a family attached to it. That's the problem. And even though they don't see how bad this is going to get for them, I, on the other hand, know how bad it's going to get. I have sued people for this before. It's not the first time I'm taking someone to court and sued them for touching the copyright. It is pretty bad. And I've seen people in court. But by the time we get in court, all the apology, it's done. We're in court already. There's nothing. We gave you plenty of time. That's why we send out those documents to you, that crease and desist, or however you want to call it. That is a warning telling you, do not step over this line. And it also tells the judge at the end of the day, we did warn you. We gave you proper warning. Not sitting in the backyard talking to an attorney. Jamie was sent actual official papers from an attorney. They were certified. They were sent to his job, sent to his place of business. So he knows, he was well aware and fully knowledgeable that this lawsuit was coming. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that I really, at the end of the day, really don't want to see his family go through this because this is going to be bad. This man's going to end up homeless. How is he going to get the money to pay that out at the end of the day? He doesn't have the money to pay that kind of money. $500,000 lawsuit, and he's not going to be able to pay that. You all know that. You know what happens when you can't pay that money? Even though you get slapped with a massive judgment on top of your head, that will be, you're talking about a crazy lien? If you're talking about student loan liens, that ain't nothing being hit with a lawsuit that you're talking about. It's a couple $1 million in. No. That collects with interest at the end of the day. It still collects. You're talking about they can go in and execute a judgment on you. And an executed judgment means they can go to a sheriff's department and say, hey, look, I got this document. I've done it before. I've got this document, an individual. We had an individual who did something stupid. He couldn't pay up. Mind, he was by himself. No family was attached to it because I didn't have that on my conscience. And we executed judgment, took his stuff. Went to the sheriff's department and say, look, here's my paperwork from the judge. I want a claim against this guy right here. He missed about 3 or 4 payments. How can we handle this? You can go before a sheriff's department. They can execute a judgment on your stuff. They will park up in front of your house with a truck and law enforcement officers and show you a document and say, hey, look, you got to take your stuff, your money. And they'll take it from you. Everything. I don't care who's attached to it. I don't care if the kid's stuff attached to it. I don't care if your wife's stuff is attached to it. I don't care if your dog's stuff attached to it. They would treat that place like the Grinch. They will clean that place out completely. Throw everything on the truck. Your stuff will go over to auction and be sold. What do you think what happens when you go to an auction and you buy stuff? Chances are you're buying stuff from somebody who pretty much got a judgment slammed against them or liquidation or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's getting sold. That's how it works. And I've seen it happen. So at the end of the day, the reason why we have that documentation, so you don't touch it. That's what it's for. Don't put your hands on it. Leave it alone. So I'm trying to figure out how we can do this without basically where the penalties are not going to be that high. So we're thinking about, and it's a thought. I still have to discuss it with attorneys first. It's a thought. They're thinking about bringing him into small claims court. If we bring him into small claims court, the worst he can be hit with is probably about 30 to 50 grand. That's the worst. The problem we have here is he touched the copyright multiple times. That's the problem. If he hit it one time, that would at least be about, even if it's $15,000, 15,000 times 13, that's going to be crazy. So they're trying to figure out a way how to do this because at the end of the day, my attorneys don't care for jack at the end of the day. As long as they get paid, that's all that matters to them. That's it. They don't have no remorse for you whatsoever, and they don't have any remorse for you. It's a job for them. Me, on the other hand, I don't want to see your family go through this. You are a jerk at the end of the day. You deserve it. You deserve it on so many levels. It's not even funny. You are definitely a jerk. But the Christian side of me is trying to not put your family through that ordeal because it is going to, you think your marriage is good at the end of the day? Oh. Get hit with a lawsuit and see how well your spouse will support you after that. Because mind you, if she's married to you, the lawsuit carries over to her too. You do know that, right? I would really suggest before you get on camera and run your mouth like a complete idiot, and we know who we're talking about, go down and talk to an attorney and tell him what you did and ask them what would be the outcome of what will happen. Not an attorney in your backyard, not that nonsense, an actual attorney. Because when you talk to an actual attorney, they're not going to meet with you in the backyard. Anybody who is dumb, and I understand, I can't understand, how dumb are your followers at the end of the day? They can't be that smart. I'm not saying all of them, but the ones that do comment, how dumb are they? Who in their right mind thinks that an attorney is going to come to your house, sit in your backyard, discuss important case or whatever's going on, and give you advice on camera? Are you kidding me? I work with attorneys all the time. They don't do that nonsense in the day. A real attorney is not going to meet with you in your backyard. You will meet him at his office at the appointed time, and everything you discuss will be in confidential. That's what it would be. And if he decides that he's going to take your case at the end of the day, or if you pay him enough money to take the case, he is going to have you a document that you're going to sign, and you're going to agree on all the terms and fees and whatever's going to go along with it. That's what's going to happen in the day. That's it. So if this did happen, I would like to see a document of it. And we've requested documents. No documents at all. Not a thing. We requested the name of the attorney. No name of the attorney. We requested the law firm that he works for. Nothing at all. No attorney in the right mind is going to even jeopardize, number one, getting taken to court on the bar. Remember, you can take someone to court and they can lose their license. They can be exonerated from the office that they practice for, because that's embarrassment to their office. At the end of the day, you got a lawyer that did so and so, and your office is supposed to represent a certain type of okay, that's the word I'm trying to put for it. A certain type of respect in the community. So if your attorney's doing stuff like this, at the end of the day, they're going to let him go at the end of the day, because they can't have him there because he represents that particular law firm. So there's no way in the world that ever happened at the end of the day. That's just him doing dumb stuff. Look, buddy, take it for real. This is the real world. This is not a reality world, okay? Understand, this is not video games or whatever. This is a real freaking world out here, okay? Understand this? You need to have this discussion with an attorney, a real attorney at the end of the day, because this is going to cost you so much money, it's not even funny. One of those copyrights can easily cost you an easy 50, 60, 70, even up to $250,000. And that's one. I'm talking about per violation. You violate the copyright 13 times. 250,000 times 13, you do the math. That's the max that you can hit them with. And it's pretty bad. And they may hit you with that anyway, due to the fact that if you do it the first time, they say, okay, look, his lawyer can easily argue you didn't know better, so and so and so, but you did it 13 times, but you knew what you were doing at the end of the day. So it gets pretty bad. So I'm considering on my end on taking to a small claims court. Because in a small claims court, the minimum, the maximum you'll be hit with is probably some 15 to 30, maybe 50,000, depending on whatever happens. The problem we have here is that you violate the copyright multiple times. So that's the problem right there. So that's going to add up. No matter what it is, it's going to add up. Because keep in mind, it's going to be per copyright. I can literally slam you with hitting one copyright and come back in and file another lawsuit against you 13 times, over and over and over again, if I do it that way. Or I can just take it to court and hit you for the whole shebang. So what we're thinking about basically at the end of the day is basically taking it to a small claims court. This right here will get them sued up somewhere to around 30 grand. Jail time, on the other hand, yeah, you did some stuff. On the other hand, we did file charges against you. So you did do some stuff. On the other hand, that's going to be a whole separate lawsuit right there. There is another lawsuit that's going to be popping up after that one. One is for the copyrights. The other one is for slander. So that's another one right there. So I don't know, man. At the end of the day, like I said, I'm trying to, at the end of the day, even those guys are a complete idiot and jerk at the end of the day, and he is a jerk at the end of the day, we are trying our best to trying to minimize the damage that he's going to have to take in. He's going to have to be sued. He has to be. He violated the copyright. And that's why when you go on Mr. Bird's, my website, you see that little information that pops up boop, on the side of that cube? Yeah, that's our copyright right there. It's registered. So, yeah. But that's what we're doing. I think we're doing. Take a small claims court. We'll bring him down here. Expert down here to Philadelphia for court. And then we'll get this thing taken care of. And then after that, we'll have to go from there. Now, I advise for you, don't do anything stupid while you're down here either. You better play nice. Philadelphia right now is not the place to be doing dumb stuff. Philadelphia has gotten, oof, Man, yeah, you might want to play nice. I wouldn't go through New Philadelphia right now with a tank. I know people all up in that area. Just put it away. It got bad, Philadelphia. Got really. I love Philly. Definitely do it. I'll never leave it. At the end of the day, I love Philly, but, whew, but I get down here, yeah, you better play nice, if you know what I mean. Don't even speak to me. Don't say nothing to me. Or walk in that courtroom. Don't even look in my direction. At the end of the day, don't. You better acknowledge I don't exist when you see me. That'd be the best for you. Trying to be nice to you. All right? You can understand that. You're in my neck of the woods now. Be nice. You don't know me. When you come through, when you go to court, don't even look at me. Don't even look at my direction. Don't. You can change my mind or something else. All right, people. That's done. That's finished. We got that saved. That's the whatchamacallit done over there. Man, but you got to go through business, man. You're going to have to go through this. People are saying, like, oh, everything's going to be peaches and cream. Oh, heck no, it's not. You have to go through bull crap. Everybody got to go through that, man. Everybody got to go through business. You're going to be suing. In business, you're going to sue somebody. You're definitely going to sue somebody. You're going to get sued or sue somebody. It's going to happen. It's business. We'll come with the territory. That's why I told you, but at the end of the day, I know a lot of people that are artists, people that are just now getting out into the music business. I know a lot of people that are doing some very interesting things with their life. And I told them first on the door, lock your stuff in. Trust me, when I tell you, lock your stuff in at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, you always got some jerk at the end of the day that want to touch something that don't belong to him. So make sure you lock your stuff in. And don't do a poor man copyright. A poor man copyright is when somebody says, oh, you just write your stuff down and mail it to yourself. Don't do that. That will not hold up in court. No, it won't. I've been in court a few times for people basically did that dumb nonsense and they got thrown right out of court. You have to go down and have legitimate paperwork done by the federal government showing that your stuff is basically locked in. That's the number one thing you're going to need before you can get a lawyer. They're going to ask you, is your paperwork legit? And they're going to look it up. And if your stuff is legit, giddy up, you can get it in. But other than that, don't do that poor man copyright where they say, oh, you mail it to yourself. It's like $130. A basic copyright. If you do it yourself, it's cheaper. If you do it yourself, it's much cheaper. But if you get a lawyer to do it, it's like 80, it's like 135 bucks. That's it. That's all it costs to get that done. Now, if you're talking about patent pendings and provisional patents, now you're talking about some money at the end of the day. You can pay anywhere from 15 to 50,000 to 100,000 for an actual patent. You're talking about patent pending. Patent pending is a lot cheaper. Patent pending would cost you anywhere from $600, $800, maybe $1,000. That's it. Now, patent pending is nice because you might see that you walk around your house and you find something that says patent pending on the side. What that means is that patent pending is pending for 1 year. You have 1 year to see if that product is going to sell. It's still protected under 1 year. So if someone goes and touches it, but the patent pending is there for 1 year. Just in case you want to spend money on a original patent, that will cost you thousands of dollars. Will drop. You can spend anywhere from a couple $1,000s or so forth, or here and there, 50, 60,000 for whatever, for an actual patent, and your product doesn't sell. At the end of the day, you still know you have to do maintenance fees and all that stuff. There is stuff that's required in that patent that you have to keep paying on and keep it running, or you lose the rights to have in the patent to begin with. But at the end of the day, like I said, you're better off just getting a provisional patent. Provisional patent is much cheaper. It's under $1,000. Go to LegalZoom, one of the places will do it right there. Have the attorney do it, because I would advise to pay that, because I did do a patent pending without an attorney. Complete freaking nightmare. Especially just pay the attorney fees and let them do it. And they have their own attorneys that will do the whole thing for you. Very easy. So it's best that you just pay that extra money. It's extra $300-400, but it's worth it. Trust me, because if you're knowledgeable in that field, hey, knock yourself out all day long. Enjoy yourself. But if you're not, it's going to be your personal nightmare, because that is a nightmare. And the good thing about me, the reason why I got through the first one, is because my ex was going to school to become a lawyer, and she knew a lot of that stuff to begin with. And some of the stuff that they were spelling out, I was like, oh my goodness, what the freak is this alien mumbo jumbo? But she understood it. So she did my first one for me. As the second time around, I paid the lawyer to do it. There ain't no way in the world I was going to do that one again. I paid the extra $400 and just over and done with it. But yeah, a patent pending is good. Like, say if you make that projector over there, you develop that projector right over there, right? And you want to make sure it's going to sell, that you're going to make your money, all right? So you give it a test run. These why it's on a test run, it's basically protected at the end of the day. Someone touches it, you sue the crap out of them. That's it. That's all. But remember, when a year passes, you have a chance to renew it, or you have a chance to basically pay for the provisional patent. They're going to allow you to renew it so many times, and they're going to request for you to actually pay for the actual patent right there from there. truth. Now, if you are worrying about attorney fees and all that stuff, I mean, at the end of the day, I would just go with LegalZoom. I've done a lot of my paperwork through LegalZoom, and everything's legit. Yeah, you can take people. Their stuff is legit. I've taken people to court on lawyers I have used at LegalZoom. Yes, I have. That paperwork is legit. Once you get that seal back from the U.S. government saying, "Hey, your stuff has been certified. You're good to go." Yeah, there you go. Knock your stuff out, but don't do the poor man copyright, because the poor man copyright at the end of the day will get you nothing but misery. Because that judge will sit there and tell you, "Oh, this is not legit. You can't sue on this." Go get the proper paperwork done, like we have. You check out my website, hit that cube, you'll see our information, boop, pop up. All our registration numbers, all that stuff. Yeah, that's what they want to see. Your registration numbers, showing your stuff is registered with the U.S. government. I myself have to be in court in April. Oh, not for that kind of thing, something different. My lawsuit for the people who jacked up my lungs. That's what I have to be in there for. So mine's a little different. Mine is a little different. But anyway, yeah, you have to get all that done. All right, how are we going to do this? Let's see. We put the stand here. We got to do this. Let me go get the other one too. We got everything. We got tests out. We're trying to take away from what I got to do here. Things to do. Mr. Bird, get talking. I get things done. Do. But if I always just get it on, it's cool. All right, come out of this right here. Where is the acoustic? That's the acoustic, right? Yeah. All right, so I got two of these to make. Let me see. We got two labels we got to develop. One label on the front, one label on the back. The label on the back is going to have a logo for our company, which we need that back there, and also basically stating that this is a Crystal Edge technology product. That is going to be on the back of it. So we have to put that in there too. So that's going to be as part of the company. Oh, and check it out, Mr. Bird. I like the acoustics in here. It's pretty nice. Mr. Bird got his new gear coming in, customized new gear, yes, to match my screens. Screen Innovation got the one with the logo on it and everything. I decided to do something different for myself. I got 3 of these coming up. Got one with work gear on it, which I can cover with as much paint, dirt, whatever I want. Got my logo on the side of it. That's going to be pretty cool. And we're not doing about that print. No, this is embroidery. This is class. Got to do it nicely. That's what I want. And no, it's not going to be merch gear. I'm not into that stuff. I don't sell any of that stuff. That's my stuff only. That's it. Sorry, but that's how it is. I don't get that. I told you, YouTube isn't. I don't get it for other people. It's advertising. That's it. It's my gear. That's it. I'm not selling it. Period. Nah, that's too much work anyway. Think about it. I got to do the paint. I got to do the clothes at the same time. Nah, it's way too much work. I ain't time for that. I got contracts to do this week. Ain't time for that at all. Nah, I don't want to do it. Oh yeah. All right, you have to go into have to understand. That's the thing about some people, man. You gotta say you have principles, man. I don't think principles can say so much here about that. Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah. Like I said, he's a jerk. He deserves to be sued. My lawyers want to clean your clock. At the end of the day, they want to clean his freaking clock. It's an easy win for them. It's easy money. At the end of the day. But at the end of the day, man, I gotta live with the fact that, I don't care about him at the end of the day. I don't care if he ends up homeless, whatever, don't care. The other, his family, on the other hand, yeah, and he has kids and all. That's a huge, massive gray area. They shouldn't have to go through crap because he's a complete idiot at the end of the day. His wife pretty much probably knows about, I don't know what they know about the end of the day. I don't know. She should know the dumb stuff that he does. So who cares at the end of the day? But as for the kids and stuff, no, they shouldn't have to go through that crap because their father's a complete idiot and irresponsible at the end of the day. They shouldn't have to go through that at the end of the day. No, you can change the out. You can really much change the outcome of someone's life through something like that. Him, he deserves it, but the kids don't deserve it. So all in all, we're probably going to end up taking him to small claims court. We're assuming about 30, 40 grand. He should be able that with no problem. $50,000, $50,000 million on him. That's a lot better than being hit with a couple of that. Yeah, that's a lot better. A lot better. Yeah, because at the end of the day, I got to live with these people. I mean, I got people at the end of the day saying, I got my friends saying, sue him, clean his clock, man. Yeah, trash him at the end of the day. Yeah, but there's people attached to that. Now, usually if I run across somebody and they touch my stuff, don't get me wrong. Don't think at the end of the day that if you touch one of my logos, I'm going to be leaning against you because you have kids at the end of the day. You're still going to get hit with something at the end of the day. You're still going to pay me money at the end of the day. It's still going to come out of your pocket. It's just going to be less of a repercussion at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I could take everything from him. He's messed up pretty bad. I can get him alone just for taking my pictures and using them without my permission. So when that, which partay, we're going to be in contact with you real soon. Got that one. Contact real soon on that one. That, on the other hand, I don't know about that one. How are we going to handle that one? I know how we're going to handle it, but yeah, you messed up there too. I never gave you permission to use my pictures and to file them that way on that level. Yeah, I'm definitely going to sue. I'm going to clean your clock good. Also, just so you know that many times you called my house, remember I told you your stuff was traced. So we know where you live at over in Jersey, buddy boy. So yeah, we're going to be coming for you next. So once we finish and handle this business right here, you're next on the chopping block. You're an idiot in the day. Grown freaking man. You should know better. He's a grown freaking man. You don't see me doing this dumb nonsense at the end of the day. No. Why in the world would I take pictures of you, save them on my phone, and go in and edit them and put them on? Why would I even do anything like that at the end of the day? Come on. That's something kids do at the end of the day. Yeah, you definitely. I know he talked to an attorney because I talked to him on the phone. He called me and I said, "Did you speak to an attorney about that whole picture nonsense?" He didn't say nothing back at all. Period. Most people, if they had a way to win a case, they would run up and say, "No, you ain't gonna get nothing at the end of the day." And I got an attorney. Nobody. You lost that case. That's definitely going through at the end of the day. You can't do that at the end of the day. You get sued for that. Hey. Dumb stuff in the morning. The adults, which one thing like. What are we missing out of here? We got, well, if I did an ultra short, no, we got to stand for the long. No, we got to do the stand for that. Do we have a stand for that? We can't just run it off the chair and hit the wall. I'm pretty sure we can run up the chair and hit the wall. I don't want to go way down to the basement for this. Let's see. All right, we put this here on this side, and we got no surges up here. All the surges downstairs. That means, Mother George. All right. I'm going to put that one too. We got to work with this. Let me see. I need that. All right. We need this. We got one fire stick. The other fire stick is taped up. I don't think I'm going to actually remove the tape yet because I want to go back outside today. If the snow is still there, I'm going back out today. And if it's not too cold, I'm going outside. I want more pictures. Because I didn't get enough pictures the last time. It was freezing down the one out there. But still, I want to get back out there and have some fun. All right, let me see. I'm going to set up on this side for this, over here. That's done. Because I don't have time to be talking about this dumb nonsense. I got work to do at the end of the day. Some of this stuff, man, at the end of the day, I could ignore. Not their dumb stuff they do. I mean, that stuff they got to be sued for. But I'm talking about the other stuff they do. They have to be, I should have ignored some of that stuff at the end of the day. Some stuff can ignore. But that whole 2 cans of paint, no. You can't ignore that nonsense in the day. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I've been in business a long time. I've never even heard of that one before. Now, yeah, no, I've never heard of that before. There's no way in the world you're going to get 2 cans of paint to paint a 300-inch screen. I guarantee you never did the demonstration. I guarantee you never did it. And I bet you, I guarantee it's probably still on his website, or he probably added more bullcrap onto that bullcrap. And measured 300-inch screens to equal a physical, actual 300-inch screen? Where? Where'd you even get the I'm sorry, people. I mean, I don't care if you naysayers on there hearing this and don't like it at all. It's idiotic. It is idiotic. It is. Even when you think about it, I mean, sit and think about it. How in the world would you even come up with the idea of thinking that 300-inch screens are going to be equivalent the size of an actual physical 300-inch screen? You ever seen a 300-inch screen before? They're huge. There's no way in the world. No way in the world that's even possible. I'm trying to think of how he even would come up with the conclusion that would even work at the end of the day. Yeah, the screen's only 4 feet by 7. Even 3 of them wouldn't even add up. You wouldn't even have enough. 4 if you did with 4, you still wouldn't have enough. Either you overlap the screen, you wouldn't be exactly the size of the screen. You'd be either bigger than the screen or smaller than the screen, but you're not going to probably fit the screen. That would be impossible. Wow, this is what you're trusting to get paint. Oh, okay, I'm going to leave that one alone. I don't know how in the world that came up. I don't know. That's weird. There's no way in the world. Now, mind you, this is an actual test. We're setting up for the test, so you guys know that. But as I'm setting up for tests, I like to talk in between when I'm setting up for my test. And yeah, we got it on the forum site already. We've been on the forum site, and they are laughing their heads off. You just have to sit back and think about that for a minute. Where did he get the mathematical equations that would add up to a physical 300-inch screen? That's not possible. It isn't. In any way level, it's not possible. It never fit. Wouldn't happen. I mean, come on. Even you naysayers, you can't be that dumb at the end of the day. I noticed that none of y'all came in with the open mic. The only thing they came in was talking trash. Talk trash about this, talk trash about that. But no one came in with any kind of mathematical equation on how would it be possible to do this. All they came back on was insults because they were embarrassed at the end of the day. I got the 250 downstairs. We're going to take a 250-inch screen. Once the weather, snow dries up outside, we'll take it in the driveway, we'll drop down some plastic, and I'll show you that 2 quarts won't even do a 250-inch screen. Nowhere near it. So if we can't do a 250, I told you before, if we had 250-inch screens in the backyard, and by Crow's math, that would be a 300-inch screen, much of a shorter distance than 3 100ths to 250 inches. So by his math, that would equal up to 300-inch screen. As you can see, with 250-inch screen in the back, even if I were to put the screen side by side, we would have overshot it. Even if I put them, stacked them on top of each other, they still would have overshot it. You would have not been able to have, and still wouldn't have enough paint. Even with the 250 inches, you still would not have enough paint in order to be able to paint that screen. It'd be impossible because you'd still be missing paint even after doing the 250 inches. which by his math would be 300 inches. So at the end of the day, again, this is a person who knows nothing about projection screen setups or anything whatsoever at the end of the day, because anybody in the field that long would have known that at the end of the day. They would have known that. That's a really easy to be able to know. Now, if you're just starting painting on screens, your first time doing it, that's a new mistake. That's going to happen. It's your first time doing it. But as many screens as this guy has painted in, and that literally was your answer to painting in 2 quarts, before he does that nonsense, he needs to actually physically paint the screen in. And it's not possible. There's no way you're going to do it. It's like, you see this room right here? If you walked into this room right now, you're a painter. Would 2 quarts be pop into your head? No, a gallon would pop into your head. Anybody painting a room, the first thing they say is, oh, they're going to take a gallon or 2. That's what they would say. If you walked into this room, you would honestly say, I think we can do this with 2 quarts. We're not including the ceiling too. You're not going to say at the end of the day, you're going to say, oh, maybe a gallon or 2. I think that's what I'm talking about, a gallon. Yeah, people walk into a bathroom. We have to eat half of them. No, you couldn't do 2 quarts for a bathroom. Wouldn't even work. Maybe 3. Not 2. Yeah, so where in the world would you get a screen that's 261 by 147 with 2 quarts? So again, if he hasn't done the demonstration, which I doubt he has done the demonstration, I don't think he's ever did it at all, period. At the end of the day, why he came up with that weird conclusion that 300-inch screens were going to actually equal up to that. We'll do it ourselves. We got a 250 in the back. It's a rag screen at the end of the day. I'm not doing anything with it. It's going to be trashing and throwing it away. I'll get 2 quarts of paint and I'll paint over it. And if he sits there and says, well, that's not my paint, it doesn't have the same coverage, well, if that's the case, then do the demonstration and prove me wrong. That's all you got to do. Because I guarantee you can do the demonstration. You can't put fake stuff on your website. That's not true. Let me see. Can't put that stuff on your every day. Customers are reading through that. They need to know what's on that website is legit. Now, people may say, well, let me question your site, Mr. Bird. Well, go ahead. Question it. The screen says certified tested. Yeah, I tested my screen against certified screens. I did it the first time the product was made. It says it works in ambient light environments. Yeah, we have demonstrations in max out zones with no problem whatsoever. And even more impressive, we have a demonstration outside. If you can't test it, ambient light to ambient light tested, yeah, that's outside and all that white reflective light, which I got a lot of good points on that on the forum site. People are like, wow, you did that in the middle of snow. I said, yeah, I said, because all the light will reflect off the screen. So right there, weatherproof. Killed that one already. My screen's up there right now. I'll probably go out there today if the weather is good and do another demonstration after to show you that the screen, get up on the screen, show the screen is maintained with no problem. Let's see. Pretty much I can just go through everything I have on there. Right now we're about to do the ultra short though. Why is it so close up? I don't even know why. Who cares? Anyway, can't put fake stuff on your website at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand that your customers are trusting you to have knowledge, understanding that what you have on there is going to be legit and true. And there's no way in the world, I don't care. I challenge your customers, every single one of them, to back that one up. Show me a demonstration. Please paint in 2 quarts to paint in a 300-inch screen. I challenge your customers too. You and your customers, they all get it. Let's see if it's true or not. Because I would love to see it. I would pay money to see that. At the end of the day, I would pay money to see that. I gotta see that. Because man, if they pull that off, that is going to be the most coolest thing I would have ever seen for 2022. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. As a matter of fact, I may make it a challenge. We may start a challenge on it. Can anybody paint a screen in? Make it a $10,000 challenge. Show me someone can paint a screen in with 2 quarts of paint on a 300-inch screen. It can't be done. And that shows you at the end of the day, you lie on your website. Just make stuff up and throw it on there. No testing, no nothing whatsoever. Same thing applies to the screen pan. No testing. You can't put something on your website if you haven't tested it. That's why I've been telling you, his product is untested. Where's your product against house paint? Any of that stuff we done? Nothing at all, period. Your product is not tested. And because your product is not tested, you don't have any real knowledgeable information on your product to add to the website. If you did, you wouldn't have put that dumb nonsense on there. If you had physically painted in that screen, you would have never put it on there. Because it'd be impossible. There's no way in the world that is going to work at the end of the day. You can't even do it on 250. 250 won't even work. I'm not waiting till the snow gets to a piece. I'm not gonna do it. I'll tell you what I am gonna do. I gotta change out the tarps in the shop. So it doesn't make a difference if I mess them up at the end of the day, because they gotta be changed out. We're gonna try to paint a 250 inch today. So in my shop, 250 won't fit, but we can fold it, which means we're gonna try to paint half of a 250 inch screen with 2 quarts of paint. And at the end of the day, I don't want to hear, well, that's not my product, because my product has more coverage. Then if that's the case, then paint the screen in. Because at the end of the day, the one thing I can't stand, and you can say at the end of the day all you want, at the end of the day, people, we have to understand, you can't put bullcrap on your website. Everything on your website has to be legit. So that way your customers are not being misled at the end of the day. And usually anything else I can let slide. But that is the dumbest thing I have ever heard since I've been in this business. When somebody coming up with a calculations on how to paint in a screen, on how much paint it uses. Just roughly just grabbing stuff off the top of your head and just throwing things on the page with any form of knowledge whatsoever. Which means if that's the case, then you don't know much about your product at the end of the day. You don't. At all, because you don't do any testing in for it. That's why we bring it over here for testing. It fails every single test that you claim it can do. That whole nonsense about the Cinemax, pulling a contrast level, again, who would be dumb enough to think of it, dumb enough to even believe that at the end of the day? You would have to be an idiot to think that a gray screen would ever have the ability to pull a contrast level equal to a black screen. I hate to call people idiots, but that's where it falls at the end of the day. That's literally where it falls at. And then you're going to tell people at the end of the day that 2 quarts paints a 300 inch screen? 2 quarts won't even do it 200. It can't even do it 250 at that. But once I get this all knocked out, before I paint my room up and everything, we're going downstairs to do this. We're going downstairs to take my 250 inch screen. It's a rag screen anyway. We're going to toss it anyway. Probably use for drop off or outside for spraying. Pretty much probably use for drop off for spraying outside today. We're going to take that screen. We're going to take 2 quarts of paint. And we're going to see if we can paint an entire 250 inch screen with this. Because again, at the end of the day, you want to go around calling people fakes and scammers at the end of the day. Oh my goodness, man. Yeah, it's weird, man. If I seen you like in some footy pajamas, a binky cup, a sippy cup, and a binky in front of watching Barney, I could pretty much sum it up on where you came up with the conclusion of this freaking weird and oh, there's no way to explain it. This is really embarrassing. It's really, yeah, it's funny how you see people that are professionals in their field and they'll meet somebody that's not a professional in their field and they'll sit there and go, where the freak did he come up with that freaking conclusion? Like you got mechanics that know their job and you got mechanics that fake it. Or contractors that know their job and contractors that fake it. Jamie's a fake at the end of the day. And again, like I said, I want to see this. I would pay someone. I don't even pay money. I just want to see this happen. Where did you come up with this idea? Where in the world did you even think that 2 quarts of paint would paint a 300-inch screen? Good. I don't want to call anybody stupid, but man, there's no other place to put it at the end of the day. I had 250 inches in my backyard and they couldn't even match up equally to a 250-inch screen when laid out. They couldn't do it. Either you was going to overextend the screen and you still were going to come up short. So where did you, what did sit? Oh, wow, man. Look, man, we're not even going to give you a week. Forget you. We're going to paint the screen in today. So we know he didn't do the demonstration. If he did the demonstration, he wouldn't have came up with that stupid idea of thinking that 3 100-inch screens were going to equal up to a physical 300-inch screen. That shows you at the end of the day, he's just trying to figure out ways to get out of this mess at the end of the day by making up these accusations. Oh, man. Good gracious, man. I don't want to buy anything from you at the end of the day. You don't even know what you're talking about. You have no knowledge what you're talking about. This is the same man who got on YouTube and sat there and said that Mr. Bird doesn't know anything about venue projectors or home theater. Are you kidding me? I don't post that bull crap on my website. I actually painted in screens that big at the end of the day. My goodness, that's bad. I can't believe he wrote that at the end of the day. That's just like when you had that video running around with you making that black and white paint. You still haven't done that demonstration yet. At all, period. None of the Sherman-Williams, nothing at all, period. Nothing at all, period. Fake the tablecloth demonstration, stuck it in a dark environment, and had a customer ship it to you. Why would you have to have a customer ship it to you when you can go on Amazon with your cell phone and buy it right from there? I'm pretty sure they have Amazon in California. Why? But the whole, yeah, we're not letting this go, man. We're not letting this go. I might put a $20,000 challenge on this one right here for anybody that can basically paint a screen in with 2 quarts of paint. I'm sorry to laugh at the man, but come on. Where did you even come up with that at the end of the day? Even Partay's measurements are off. 48 ounces is not going to paint a 120-inch screen. 48 ounces is going to paint a screen of 150, maybe 160 if you have the coverage. And you're still going to have to display what's left in the container. If the container is bone dry, this is not good because if you have a customer who's going to use more paint, he's going to end up with less paint than what you use in your demonstration because you're used to painting a different way than he does. He's the everyday Joe. You've been doing this for a while, so you would have more experience than he would. There you go. That's why we take paint and we do, buddy. Look, here's how much we have left and we pour it out. But man, I don't know where you came up with that idea. There's no way to, that's why I'm doing it. There's no way around it. I'm trying to think of some kind of way that would make sense to this. Even in my own videos, I'm sitting back there thinking like, what the freak? Like, where did he come up with that freaking calculation? Like, what? If you're slow, maybe you could be a little slow or something. I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know. Learning disability, I don't know at the end of the day. I'm not knocking anybody who has it at the end of the day. I'm not. But there's something wrong there at the end of the day. Medication, something got to be wrong at the end of the day. There is no way in the world anyone would have came up with an idea like that. And then to make it even worse, I mean, at least if you came in and said, hey, look, it was a typo, I made a mistake, but you added even more dumb nonsense to it. You Wile E. Coyote'd it. That's what you did. You literally thought at the end of the day that 3 physical 100-inch screens was going to equivalent the size of an actual official 300-inch screen. Didn't you realize that the 100-inch screen was 4 feet by 7? Did you know that? So if you stacked them in threes the long way, that'd have been 3 times 7, 21. You would have hit maybe a little bit, but you wouldn't hit the official screen. But still, your screen's only 4 feet high, which means you're short the height of a 300-inch screen. So even if you stack it up, you got 4 times 3 is 12. at the end of the day, you're still missing 3 inches, but hey, that's either give or take. That could be a board or whatever, who cares? But still, your screen is 7 feet wide, which means you're still missing the rest of the 261 that make up the screen. Do you have an idea how big a screen that is at the end of the day? Literally, I had 250-inch screens side by side, and you see the top of that wood had to be painted the equivalent to the screen's height for 198. Not 300, 198. And somewhere you got in your head that 3 screens would equal up to a physical? You've been in this business for a long time? Yeah, that'll mess with you. You can be thinking about it all day. You get one of those guys from Screen Innovation, anybody who's in the home theater business that are professional in the film, say, hey, look, man, I'm going to ask you a question. You think too quick. They will look at you like, what the freak is wrong with you at the end of the day? Do you drink? Good gracious, man. That's really bad, man. That's not, at the end of the day, people, you have to understand, when you work in this field, this business, that's a really bad mistake to make. That's an extremely bad mistake to make at the end of the day. Because you should know this. This is something you should know. This is basic. This is newbie mistakes. You should know this at the end of the day. Very simple thing to know. If you painted enough screens in your time, you should have definitely hit a 300 by now. Definitely would have hit one by now. 150, 180. Once you hit one of those big screens, you kind of get a feel on how much paint it literally takes to lay one of these screens out at the end of the day. And you know at the end of the day, 2 quarts is not going to do it. If you're doing screens at 180, 190 and up, you know you're dropping gallons in there. Automatically from the door, you're dropping gallons. So if you're dropping gallons on the screen, automatically on the screen that big, so you pop into 150, you can knock it out with 2 quarts, bam. But then you hit 160, that could be 3 quarts. That knocked that out right there. Then you go up and you drop up to 180, so okay, we gotta probably have to drop maybe about a gallon on this bad boy to knock it out. To be sure 100% that you're gonna hit the screen. And some people may have to paint the screen twice. Because the bigger the screen, the higher the chances are you may miss a spot when painting the screen. So that's why you have to do it twice once you hit a certain level of screen. Because you don't want to paint the screen and go, oh crap, there's an area right there that's missing. No, it's best to go over it twice. So that way you know at the end of the day that basically that you've covered the whole entire screen. Now, you're not going to do a heavy paint. You're going to do a light coating over top of it. That's all you're doing. Just making sure if you missed any spots, that's based about it. Nothing heavy. So you got enough paint left over for that. But once you start hitting the gallons at 80, you automatically would know from the door that anything bigger than that is going to require much more paint. That tells you at the end of the day, if someone makes a mistake like this, they have never painted a screen physically that big before. Because you would know this automatically from the door. You've only painted in small screens. That's why you came up with the conclusion of 2 quarts. There you go. That's how we know. At the end of the day, that you have never physically painted a screen. You don't know what you're talking about at the end of the day. Because, like again, to go back to it, people, paint 100-inch, a quart. You paint 140, 150, 2 quarts. You start reaching 160, that's 3 quarts. This is what's going to go through. Once you hit 180, you're talking about a gallon of paint easy. So if you're doing a 180-inch screen and a gallon of paint easy, what do you think a 300-inch screen is going to require? Not 2 quarts. There you go. That's why it's an easy, if you've been painting screens for that long, you should have come across 180. Easily. Easily. Should have come across 180. Easily. That shows you at the end of the day, you have no form of information or knowledge past a certain size screen because you don't know what you're doing. Now, I'm pretty sure, yes, when it comes to 150-inch, 60-inch, 80-inch, 90-inch, 120, he's knowledgeable of that. But anything past, maybe 150, I would even give him 150 at that. But anything past that, you don't even know what you're talking about. You have no knowledge at all, because I don't know anywhere in the world you would come up with that conclusion. And then even sadder in that, knowing you have painted 100-inch screens, 120-inch screens, and knowing the size of a 100-inch screen, you still came up with the most idiotic idea of saying that 3 100-inch screens is going to equal a physical, actual 300-inch screen, which means you never saw one before. You've never even seen a 300. Have you ever experienced painting in a 300-inch screen, even 200? You would automatically know at the end of the door it's not going to fit. That's like saying, okay, you got a 200-inch screen and a 200-inch screen, 2 200-inch screens are going to fit in that. That's not going to happen. Not going to happen at all, period. I don't really think that's the dumbest thing I've heard in my life. Because at the end of the day, what if the customer says, okay, you if Crow's math is correct, and I can do 3 100-inch screens that will equivalent up to an actual 300 screen, then that means anybody wants to do a 200-inch screen, and say you're buying a physical 200, you just get 200 screens, so equals a 200 screen. Not going to work. Your height's missing. You're missing either way in height, or you're missing either way in length. Because if you do a 200-inch screen, Crow, so you can understand this, you can understand math at the end of the day. This is how it works. Again, a 200-inch screen is 4 feet by 7 feet. But mind you, this is 4 feet by 7 feet of the actual full screen with the border. You haven't calculated the viewing area, screen. So when they measure a screen off, they measure it 2 ways. They measure the outside of the screen, which is the actual full size of the screen, and then they measure the viewing area of the screen, of actually how much of the screen you're actually seeing out of the 150 inches. So you haven't even added it. I'm not even going to go down that road because that's going to be way too complicated for you to understand. That's going to be way too complicated. And for your fans who pretty much consider that to be your math to be on point, I'm not even going to explain that because they will never pick it up. But the ones that did pick it up, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say all your customers are idiots. I would not say that. I would say that the ones who commented at the bottom, putting themselves out there thinking that you were right on this, are idiots at the end of the day. The other ones pretty much just sat there and said, what the freak? Like, no, that's not possible. And I don't think at the end of the day, I'm curious who could have commented on that thing. I got to go look at that. I got to see who commented on that nonsense. I really got to see that one. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. I couldn't make this up. Couldn't make it up. We're going to pay it $250 today. Couldn't make it up. I wanted to. Unbelievable. That's like if you get a good contractor that goes to your house and he'll go, who was the last person in here who did this house? That's when you had a good contractor. Look how they painted the place, man. They'll be pointing out all there. That's not done right, and this is not done right, so and so and so. You get a good contractor that knows what he's talking about. Even at some point, they'll get so ticked off, like, I want to meet this guy. I want to meet the guy who did the job in here. This is absolutely, yeah. 200. Oh my goodness. That's the stupid humor of my life. Look at that. Wow. 200-inch screens. 200-inch screens. The Wile E. Coyote math. That's what we call that. That's Wile E. Coyote math. Wile E. Coyote. There's no way in the world. Oh my goodness. I want to do this right now. I'm so hyped up. I want to actually paint this. I got to do this right now. I got to do this. We got to put this in right now. We got to do this now. Because I'm curious. I got to see this. There's no way in the world. Oh my goodness. No way in the world. No way in the freaking world. Let me see. We need to go to. I love how you don't want to move over, but you're right there. Here we go. That keeps it perfectly. I'm sorry. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you can't go around calling people stupid and they don't know anything at the end of the day and you do dumb stuff like that. Be careful at the end of the day. I try myself not to call people idiots, but come on. Wow. All right, that right there took me to a whole other level right there. Good gracious. Do we freaking even, and you could even go into a paint calculator. They have a paint, that's how I learned. I went to a paint calculator to teach me all that stuff. Oh, wait till you get into basically centimeters. Oh yeah, that's when you really get into some interesting stuff. Because mind you got people that will contact you from overseas, and mind you, they may be using the metric system like over in Canada, well, they go by centimeters. You got to know that one too. You're not going to use that one over there. Where came up with that dumb idea at the end of the day? Yeah, wait till you get an order from Canada. They use the metric system over there. by centimeters. How are you going to work that one out at the end of the day? You don't know the proper measurements here in the U.S. We got to do that one. We got to do it. I'm not going to be able to concentrate on this until we do this. Oh, by the way, remember when I put in my, it was ultra short though? The guy was like, well, how do you know if it's ultra short though compatible? You've never did. We know already. Again, I've developed paint. Like, at the end of the day, we really don't have to show you tests. We don't. Our stuff is going to work automatically. It's going to work automatically, but we have to have it recorded so that way we can have it on display and proof that the screen will pick up at 190 viewing angle. I told you, ultra short though demonstrations are easy because the projector literally sits up on top of the screen. The only problem you would have with an ultra short though projector is the simple fact that the screen has any kind of reflective surface. It may be affected by a narrow viewing cone, which will cause the screen to become dark on the edges. That's it. That's basically about it. All you would have to worry about. People, what they do is they fear darker screens because they figure that lighter screens are going to pull up the edges much better. That's what they think at the end of the day. Sad thing about it is that depends on what kind of technology you're using at the end of the day. They think the best screens to go with for ultra short throws are those real light screens. Well, here's the problem you're going to have with that. Again, you can't see contrast and you can't see color at the end of the day. You can't pick it up. But they figure a black screen can't pick it up. Our technology can. I can't vouch for everybody else, but at the end of the day, our stuff will pick up with no problem. But I already know this stuff is going to work. I've designed it over and over and over again. We know it's going to work. We just have to have video demonstrations. Video demonstrations basically to show you that it does work. Document it. O'clock and I am up. 7 o'clock they will be here. We got to paint the screen in. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, bum, bum. Let's do some 8K desired nature. I know this stuff because I test this stuff. I test this stuff because I know this stuff. And at the end of the day, I explain to you that all my technology comes from my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It is going to work. You have to have faith in your stuff. You have to have faith in your stuff like you have your nose in your face. You see that doorknob? You can't see that doorknob over there. You see that light switch over there? You know there's a light switch over there. You know how to use the light switch and the light switch there. I'm having fun, people. I'm excited. When I get up in the morning, I love working with this stuff. But yeah, we got to paint the screen, and we got to do it. We got to paint the 250 in. I got nothing going on in the basement right now, and we need to paint that in. Because I'm explaining something to you people at the end of the day, and you naysayers, you can understand this. Crystal clear. There is no way on this universe or any other universe, or even on this planet, that you're going to take 2 quarts of paint and physically paint in a 300-inch screen from one end to the next. Never going to happen. Unless you have the ability of special powers or whatever you have at the end of the day that gives you the ability to do so, that is the only way. Other than that, not going to happen at all, period. Heck, you're going to need more prime. You're going to need more prime than the actual paint to prime the screen. It's going to take about 2 gallons of prime, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, a gallon, maybe 2 gallons and a half to prime a screen that big. So if it takes that much paint to prime it, why are you using 2 quarts of paint in? Good gracious. Oh, and the other thing is too, no, you cannot take 3 100-inch screens to equivalent the size of a physical 300-inch screen. That'll never work at all, period. Calculations are way, way, way off. That's not going to happen. Let's put you guys over here for a minute because I need to see the angle gain on this. I'm not worried about front. Front is easy. It's that angle gain I need to see. Now, mind you, that's not even a P2 projector. That is my $60 NEC projector. That's an XGA 720p that I'm using right now. So this looks amazing on the screen. What do you think a P2 is going to look like on the screen? Oh, and the contrast ratio on this projector is, I think, 2,000 to 1. 2,000, 3,001 isn't much. I can clearly see my wall. It's not flat. Definitely isn't. It's not flat. at all, period. So when we build the screen can't lay against the wall. It's going to have to extend away from the wall when we build it. So that way we know we get it perfectly flat. Because right here, when we go over to the screen, see right here? If I push it in, see how it fits better? Yeah, it's actually sitting out from the wall. The wall's not flat. So guess what I can mark off on my whatchamacallit? Yes, it is ultra short throw compatible. I don't even bother looking up there. It's sitting right up on top of the screen. No point. Yeah, let me see. All right, I'm gonna knock this test out right now. We can do the other. We can do it at the end of the day. I'm doing it at the end of the day. I'm gonna get my test and everything done. Get that done at the end of the day. Get the acoustic screen spraying. Get this room painted in here. Get the other room painted for that demonstration. Get that done. Get that finalized. And then at the end of the day, when everything is finished, we're going to do the 200. Matter of fact, I'm going to give him a chance. I'm always a person who gives a person a chance. I'm going to give him a second chance. So, Fernando Gonzalez, you have a second chance to prove yourself that your website is not a fraud, that you're not giving out miscommunication, that you're knowledgeable of what you do at the end of the day. I want to see you paint this screen in. Stop beating around the bushes. You wrote it to your website. People come in and they read this. They believe this nonsense. You got to be truthful at the end of the day. Are you a fake or are you the real deal? So as you're going down this path of doing this, number one, paint the screen in, 2 quarts of paint on a 300-inch screen. If not, we'll do it on a screen much lesser and show it still won't go through. That whole thing about how you were talking about how you could take 3 100-inch screens to equivalent to a 300 screen. Oh, please show me that one. I would love to see it at the end of the day. Because right there at the end of the day, you know how much money that would cost you more money at the end of the day. No. If you went to a place of like $28 a screen, yeah, you basically would save a ton of money off of that. So if that's possible, that you can get 3 100-inch screens to equivalent to a 300 screen, you know how much money you would save off of that if that was possible? So I'm going to see that one being done, definitely, because you did write it on your website. What's the other one? Oh, the Bear. The Bear? Yeah, the Bear silver screen 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the Sherman Williams. Oh, and the custom, the YouTuber who put out the free screen paint mix. See how close that comes to yours. That's basically about it. That's all. It's simple and easy. Not hard to do. That's all you gotta do. That's it. That's all we asked him to do. Meanwhile, I'm outside at 150 inches outside in a snowstorm showing you images of a burning fireplace. And snow. Did you catch that? Snow. We showed you snow off a jet black screen. Why there was snow outside? Everybody was like, yo, that is freaking crazy. But you got to do stuff like that, man. You got to think outside the box, man. That's what you got to do. Got to do the stuff that nobody else wants to do. Ain't nobody want to be out there in the snow. I'll do it. It's an opportunity to have fun. Why not? Why not take that challenge? Now, this is what's embarrassing. What's embarrassing is the fact that we're using a $60 projector, $60 NEC projector, an XG, I think it's an XGA, yeah, XGA $60 projector, that's it. 720p with a, I think 2000 to 1 contrast ratio. It's pretty low. Yeah, I think it's 2000. I gotta go check that thing. I think it's 2000. And look at the image we're pulling up. You don't have to be in the dark for this. And a projector with a P2 that sits closer than my projector, because my projector wasn't designed to do a screen size that big. So I'm farther away from the screen, as you can see. And you're telling me you got to be in the dark to pull a contrast level on that paint, and I can do this here on this projector with a much lower and cheaper $60 versus $3,000? Are you kidding me? That's crazy. That's what I told you at the end of the day. I told you at the end of the day, a lot of the big companies, even people are hobbyists, we don't call them hobbyists, but it is. Hobbyists basically would depend on a high-end projector in order to push that contrast level, to try to push it. With this technology right here, you don't even have to have a $3,000 projector to pull heavy contrast levels. $60, that's what I paid for it. The model number right there. Right there, NEC. Now, I don't want anybody to think at the end of the day, if I get this projector and pull these same contrast levels, you're not going to get it. The technology does it. That's what does it. So instead of my customers going out and watching a YouTube demonstration of you using a $3,000 projector, not my customer watch your videos, but your customers watching your video using a $3,000 projector, and the only way they're going to be able to achieve anywhere close to that screen is they're going to have that same projector. That's how it works. If that wasn't the case, why spend $3,000 for a projector when you could do the same thing on something much lower? There has to be a reason why someone's spending $3,000 for that machine at the end of the day. All right then. So in your videos, when your customers see that and you talk about quality, it's not quality when you have a $3,000 projector that your customers are going to be faced with. At the end of the day, either going to have the same machine or better at the end of the day. In my demonstrations, we can pull up a contrast level. I'm a darker than your screen at the end of the day, which we'll have that test with. We'll have your same projector here soon. But like I said, at the end of the day, dark contrast level, fully lit environment, no patches or dark areas on a $60 projector. Which means when my customers can watch this, how much money they save, you ain't saving people any money at the end of the day. At all, period. And at that, like I said, they could do the same thing with your product with everyday house paint. Can't do it with mine. Black paint doesn't match my technology. And we got the test demonstrations to back it up. So you got to be careful what you buy online. See, when that screen switches over, every time that screen changes, because somebody pointed that out, she said, you know, when your screen changes, it remains black. Where if you do a gray screen, it doesn't do that. A gray screen, when it switches over, you'll see a shade of it's not even black. You'll see a shade of a somewhat imitation black. But when it switches over to the original screen, it goes back to gray. These don't go back to gray. They stay black all the time. See? Now, you know how embarrassing this is going to be when I take this projector right here, and this projector can pour a star field on this screen paint at $60 versus the P2, which I'm going to have in here soon, at a 2 million to 1 contrast that can't even pull up a proper star field in a fully lit environment at 2 million to 1 contrast. Which shows you at the end of the day that even if you have a expensive projector, don't mean jack if you ain't got the proper screen. That's what it comes down to, people, at the end of the day. So every time the screen changes over, now if I take your screen paint here, Crow, and I stick it up here, you're not picking up any of this at all. You can't even pick up the background. Doing demonstrations in the dark, trying to find a coffee table. So is it ultra short though compatible? Heck yeah, it is. $60 projector. That's it. NEC, discontinued model. You can go online and you can get this projector for, I got 5 of them upstairs in the attic right now. You can get this projector for, like, I wouldn't pay any more than under $200 for it. So a customer of mine can go buy my screen paint that can pretty much at the end of the day take out a $3,000, $5,000, and $4,500 gunmetal screens easily. So he gets the screen paint for around $312 for 100 to 120 inch, or he decides to go with 160 inch, $556. That technology from the door can pull an image outside in the middle of a snowstorm without an issue or a problem. Can pull contrast levels, white levels, and we got the videos to back it up. That's why I do those demonstrations at the end of the day. Ultra short though compatible. Doesn't spend tons of money for projector. No calibrating, no dark environments. None of that nonsense. So altogether, he gets an ultra short though projector. He pays about $130 for it. He pays probably about, you can get the small core even at $312, even at $556. Either one of them, they easily beat $4,000 and $5,000 gunmetal screens. Your product, which is a UV mix, can't even beat the daylight screens. Can't pick up the white, can't see white levels. Can't pick it up. So how are they saving any money? How are they getting any quality at the end of the day? So let's see, if I spent for a soundbar I got downstairs for about $120, my soundbar system downstairs. Projector, if I get that for about $130, including the screen paint, I am way cheaper than a $4,000 to $5,000 projection screen, a much bigger screen size, and I'm using a much cheaper projector. And I'm picking up images like that. So at the end of the day, we don't save you hundreds, we save you thousands because we compare our screens to certifieds. But I like the Ultra Short though came up. Scary thing about doing a black screen, like I said, is to be to pick up that angle gain on the black screen. Because that's one of the things we get from time to time that people will say that, okay, if I get this screen, how's it gonna pick up on an ultra short throw? Because the bigger companies out there have you convinced that an ultra short throw is best used on a light gray screen. Bull crap. Same screen that can't see contrast, same screen that can't see color. Okay, I got to come back to my setup already. So this one's already set up for this demonstration right here for the day for its testing. So that's done. Let me see. We got the 1,000 lumen projector, which we have to hit over here. Mind you, we don't recommend 1,000 lumens, just not at the end of the day. We recommend 3,000, but like I said, to show you can use it at the end of the day, so you'll be good to go. Oh, so what are we gonna do? We're going to be here soon. I got to meet with the postal man here to go drop off the packages for the customers, get all that done so everybody's taken care of from there. And we got to repaint the room in here. We got to repaint the screen in there. And I may be able to do a light coating over my gamer screen because that has to be sprayed in either way. And then once that's done, we got an acoustic spray on to do, demonstration for that. Once that's finished, then we're going to, everything's done, everything's finished. At the end of the day, we're going to do the 250-inch screen from 2 quarts of paint. We're definitely doing that. That's definitely what I'm happy today. I just have too much to do right now. Boom. That's what I liked about the P2 commercial. One thing I liked about the Spartan's commercial. I like the fact how they had it on the promo on how well lit the environment was. That was the best intro I've ever seen. I loved it. I actually loved it. To enough that basically I'm buying a projector and I'm building the environment just almost similar like it. Not like the same environment, but I want that same brightness, that same thing I saw in the video. I'm not gonna have everything to the T, just like it, but I'm gonna have that same brightness in it. I freaking love that. That was an amazing demonstration, man. An amazing demonstration. Really liked how they did that. My friend is on the screen, okay. Really loved how they did that demonstration. No dark environments, none of that. And the whole thing of advertising that projector is to show that you can be in a well-lit environment with your family. And that's what we're supposed to be with that machine, not sitting in the dark trying to figure out where the freaking coffee table's at. That's what I loved about it. That's what that projector is designed for. It's a family projector, a set-top box. So you can have your friends and family come over and enjoy it just like a TV. Because at the end of the day, people have to understand, projection screens are at war with TVs. They are at war with TVs. I've been in TV forum sites before. I know what they're talking about. Yeah, projection screens are gray, they're washed out, images don't pop up on them correctly, you got to calibrate this and calibrate that, and at the end of the day, you got to be in the dark. The main great material is you got to be in the dark all the time. What's the point of buying an ultra short throw projector if you're still going to be in the dark at the end of the day? You might as buy a TV. And that's what they argue about in there. And today, see Mr. Bird come in with this black screen. It looks like an OLED TV. They can't tell one from the other. They think it's a TV in there. Being used in a fully lit environment, doing all the things that screens are not supposed to do. Like when you watch demonstrations of people displaying their screens outside, always in the dark. Outside, you gotta wait till the sun go down because the screen will wash out and fade. Out there at 5,000, 6,000 lumens trying to pull an image outside. And here's Mr. Bird coming on. We're gonna be at 4 o'clock. We're gonna be at 5 o'clock. We're gonna be at 6 o'clock. We're here at 12 o'clock. Testing sun killer technology. But let's do this in the middle of a snowstorm for fun. You're not doing any of that stuff. In the day, everybody else in Crow's world is supposed to be fakes and scammers, and he's the only one doing it right. In the day, he's a professional. Far from it, buddy. Far from it. That's why you're gonna paint that screen in. Because that's not a professional mistake. A professional would know that at the end of the day that's not going to work. That's something you should know from time and experience. That's never going to work. Never. Now, once we get the projector here, the 4K in, I'm going to show you when we take some white, anything will work off a 4K projector. There's nothing special. Anything will work off of it at the end of the day. It's that the contrast and color, all that you need to pick up. You need to pick up very good white levels. What time we got here? Wait, we're way over time. I got to go, people. I got to be back on. I got to do a demonstration strictly on this for the website, for the technology. And, yeah, y'all really, when you go to the website, your website is a place you're going to trust at the end of the day. I do a lot of research. I have to go to a lot of websites at the end of the day. I have to study this and study that. Sometimes the stuff seems a little too bogus from my experience of being in the field for a while. Sometimes I have to do a fact check on another website to make sure it's legit. But this person's been in the business for a while. There's no way in the world anyone should have made that kind of a new mistake at the end of the day. This is something you would have automatically known from the door. If you had physically painted in a 180-inch screen, you would have known from the door that a 180-inch cannot be used with 2 quarts. So if a 180-inch can't be used with 2 quarts, how the freak is a 300 going to be used with 2 quarts? That's somebody that's throwing stuff on a website for the sake of just putting on it with no knowledge or education of what they're talking about at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to. And we're going to basically give him the time to do this. I'm not going to paint the screen in today. We're going to give him at least about 3 days. 3 days to acknowledge to get this done. In 3 days, we're going to paint the screen in 250 downstairs with 2 quarts and show you this is not possible. Do not follow this bullcrap or nonsense. But at the end of the day, he's going to mess up somebody's job or somebody's freaking life at the end of the day. And how he's going to do that? Because when people do a screen of that caliber, you see how big my 200-inch screen when I displayed it off? The average Joe is not going to have a screen that big in his house. This is going to be something for a venue or a backyard event or a wedding, something big that somebody's planning. And if they're going to spend money for a screen that big, they're sure enough going to spend money for a sound crew to come in. Mine, this is a very big screen. You have somewhere to hang it off of. You're not hanging off the side of your house, so chances are they're going to probably get a frame that has grommet in it that allows to attach a frame. They're not cheap. They're expensive. Some people rent those out. And then they're going to have to get a high-end projector for this, which means that's going to cost them even more money, and they're going to have to rent that out too, including the people that are going to need to set this up unless they're planning to do this themselves, which chances are they're probably not, because most people I've done business with, they have other people do this for them. So you have to pay employees to do this. What's going to make it worse is taking his advice and thinking that 2 quarts, which I don't know how anybody would make it a mistake, and they won't question it, but painting in 2 quarts, you are going to come up extremely short on your screen. And there is no way in the world that you're going to be able to get this shipped in unless overnight, unless you painted the screen in like a week before it happened, or maybe you did it like 2 days before it happened. But most people, when they're doing an event, they usually paint the screen in that day. That's when they do it. They want the screen to be fresh. They want it to be crisp. They don't want to have it folded up. They want it to be crisp when they do it. There's no way in the world if this guy reorders time, which means he is not going to have a screen that's going to match all the stuff that he paid for to fit for this screen. He's going to have to either get something smaller, dumb down the screen, because he has something. Something's got to go there at the end of the day. But it's not going to be what he paid for at the end of the day. You're going to mess somebody up pretty bad with this mess. When you're talking about screens of that size, you have to be accurate and you have to be on point with this. If you don't know what you're, at the end of the day, break it down quart by quart. It's hard to do it, but yes, but at least at the end of the day, you have knowledge. You know this. He is not educated in this field. All jokes aside, all jokes aside, you think it's on a serious note, you can't play around with something like this. You have to be accurate and you have to be on point with this. And God forbid, if somebody orders something overseas, you may have to do with the metric system over there by centimeters. So you need to know what you're doing before you just start throwing stuff on your website that you have no proof or no knowledge to be able to back it up at the end of the day. And that's why I'm not letting this go at the end of the day. He can cry and whine all he wants at the end of the day. No, this is something you should have known as a person who's been in the business that long. All right, gotta go. Thank you all. God bless.